So if you are thinking about getting into adventure riding in 2026 and you are on a tight budget, this will be a very useful video for you to watch before buying your first bike.
I'm not giving you any suggestion on which particular bike to purchase, but more about finding the right category of the bike that suits you.
As the video title said, I also explained which option makes more sense depending on which type of rider you are. So stay tuned till the end. Alright, let's say you got approval from Mrs. for a 10,000 Australian dollar. With that money, you can either buy an entry-level adventure bike like this Moto 450 MT, currently selling for $9,099 right away. Other examples in this category, including the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450, Honda CRF 300 Rally, or KTM 390 Adventure. Or you can pick up a used middleweight adventure bike like this one, Moto 800 MT.
In the current market, these are typically priced around 8,000 to 9,000 Australian dollar depending on the condition, which means after you are getting the bike, you might also have some money left over for riding gear and proper luggage setup. Other example could be the Honda XL 750 Transalp, a Suzuki V-Storm 650, or even an older version of the BMW F700 GS or F800 GS.
You might have a different budget in mind, but the trade-off is always the same. So if you find yourself in a position and cannot decide which one to go for, don't worry, I got you covered, because I was in the same position as you did when I purchased my first adventure bike. First, let's start with a small adventure bike. And personally, I think there are three main advantages of buying new. First of all, you will be the very first owner. Nothing beats that brand new bike feeling. It has a clean history and a blank canvas for you to experience, modify, and customize over the coming year.
Secondly, you will get a fresh manufacturer warranty. If anything happens, you know you are covered. However, this also means you'll have to service the bike at an authorized dealer to maintain that warranty. Depending on your situation, this can be either a good thing or a limitation. For me, as an example, I like service bike on my own, but now I have to take the bike to the dealer just to keep the warranty alive. Number 3, also the most important advantage, entry-level adventure bikes are usually lighter, easier to handle, both on and off-road. They are easier to learn on and easy to build up proper riding technique. There's a reason countries like Australia has a learner bike scheme in place. These bikes are designed to help new riders grow safely.
But obviously, there are downsides for small adventure bikes as well. The first thing will be the power.
To be fair, most modern entry-level bikes in this price range produce around 40-ish horsepower. Well, that's definitely enough for off-road riding and commuting, but it's far from exciting. On the highway, you will feel the slow acceleration, higher engine rev, and more vibration at speed. When fully loaded with luggage, they can feel like they are working very hard just to keep up. Yes, you can change the exhaust or remap the ECU, but realistically, those modifications makes very little difference. Another risk is the resale value. Motorcycles depreciate quickly, and some brands drop faster than others. If you buy a new and change your mind 3 months later, you will lose a significant amount of money. You won't recover the cost of the accessories, and if the bike has scratched or damage from drops, the resale price will drop even further. And trust me, if you are doing off-road riding, drops will happen.
Now let's talk about the advantage of buying a used middleweight adventure bike.
So one of the advantages is obviously gonna be the power. This bike with 80 plus horsepower is more than enough for you to ride comfortably on the highway and take over if needed. All of that with luggage. Oh ho ho! Yeah, you can do that on a small adventure bike.
Long distance travel is where this bike are great at. With better wind protection, a larger seat, and a more commanding riding position, They make touring more relaxed and enjoyable. You can also carry more comfort gear without worrying about slowing the bike down. Riding 2-up is also much easier and more practical.
Other advantage gonna be the tech. So this thing comes with a 8-inch LED screen. It has a cruise control, it has a quick shifter. This particular model doesn't have a heated grip and heated seat, but I know some other model do.
Many middleweight adventure bikes comes with a feature you won't normally see on the entry-level machines. On the longer trips, this feature makes a big difference to comfort and fatigue. Suspension and brakes are often better as well. These bikes are heavier and designed to travel at a higher speed, so they tend to feel more planted and stable. For example, when riding something like this 800 MT over a speed bump or a rough road, it absorbs the imperfection with much more confidence. And most likely the bike is already been heavily modified by the previous owner. Take this one as an example: full protection for the lights, skid plate, crash protection, buckbuster, luggage rack, and even a luggage. So buying a bike that already have them on will save you thousands. Accessories really add much resale value for the seller, but they can be a huge bonus for the buyer. And one of the biggest advantage is the resale value. If you are buying a bike that's already 3 to 5 years old, most of the depreciation has already happened. When you decided to upgrade or change bike, you won't lose a huge amount of money. But of course, the disadvantage of buying a used middleweight adventure bike is quite obvious. First of all, off-road capability. Yes, middleweights can handle gravel road and fire trail very well, but once the terrain becomes tactical, like steep climbs, deep sand, rocky section, the size and the weight start working against you, especially if you are new to off-road riding. Another disadvantage for a bigger ADV bike is the weight. When they are moving, they are fine, but when you are picking it up and moving around, you can definitely feel the actual weight. Middleweight adventure bikes are heavy. On the highway, those weights feel stable and planted. But off-road, especially on uneven terrain, picking the bike up repeatedly can be quite exhausting. However, reliability could be a question mark. The reason I'm saying that because you don't always know how the previous owner treated the bike. And older bike may require more maintenance or unexpected repairs. There are specific things to check when buying used, but that will be a topic of another video. In addition to that, there will most likely be some cosmetic damage. Adventure bikes will be dropped. Sometimes it just might be cosmetic, but not everyone can live with a scrapped panel.
So what's the verdict? For riders who are completely new to the motorcycle riding and want the full ownership experience, I think a brand new entry-level adventure bike is the best option. You don't need to worry about a hidden mechanical issue, you can focus purely on learning and building confidence.
But even for more experienced rider who plan to spend more time off-road than on the highway, a lighter entry-level bike may actually suit you better. It has enough power for technical terrain, is easier to pick up, and is less likely to get you into trouble. But who should buy a used middleweight adventure bike? Well, if you plan to do a long-distance travel with a mix of highway and dirt roads, carry luggage, go camping, or even ride 2-up, the middleweight is the better choice. It's perfect if your version of off-road riding is just a gravel road, scenic fire trail, and exploring, not tackling the extreme technical sections. Also, if you are coming from the street bikes and don't want to give up that stronger acceleration and highway comfort, a middleweight will feel more familiar.
So if you want get most of the power for your money, then definitely go with middleweight. This bike make a lot of sense. And the torque is amazing. It's very easy to get yourself in trouble.
And finally, for those who like change bikes often, Buying a used middleweight adventure bike will likely save you more money, both when purchasing and when selling.
So that's my take on choosing between a brand new entry-level adventure bike or a used middleweight adventure bike. I hope this video will help you narrow down your choice for your next adventure bike. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.